Hey guys, it's Mr. Schaefer again. I just want to give you a quick tutorial on mixed numbers and improper fractions. This is an introductory lesson, so we're going to be just talking about what each of these concepts are in math. And then the next part, in part two, we'll actually get into how to rename mixed numbers and improper fractions using a little bit more of an algorithmic approach. So if you take a look at the visual I have drawn here, it looks like some of the similar fractions that we've been studying in class, but represented visually. So let's first talk about mixed numbers. Hey, mixed numbers are the sum of, or when you add together, a whole number and a fraction. So if I were to look at this picture, I would say, well, I have the whole square shaded in. So I could rename this and call this one whole. And if I take a look at the second picture, I also have one whole. And if I take a look at my third picture, I would name that as 3/4. Now, mixed number is when we add together wholes and a fraction. If I were to add one whole plus 3/4, I would come up with the fraction 2 wholes and 3/4. 2 and 3/4 is a mixed number because it's a combination of a whole number and a fraction. Now in math, it's understood that there's a plus sign actually in between the whole number 2 and the 3/4. And you can also see I actually wrote the whole a little bit bigger. But we don't usually include that plus sign. It's just understood that we're adding those two together. Now, let's view this picture in a little bit of a different way. Let's think about it in terms of an improper fraction. So instead of calling this one whole, what if I actually named it in terms of the number of parts it has? So instead of calling it one whole, I could call it 4/4. I could also call the second fraction 4/4, and I could call the third fraction 3/4. Now, if I added all of these fractions together, just like we learned in third grade, the denominator is going to stay the same. It's going to be a fourth. Well, let's add the numerators. 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 3 more. That's 11/4. That means in this picture, I have 11 fourth size pieces. 11/4 is an improper fraction, and 2 and 3/4 is a mixed number. They are equivalent to each other. So no matter how you want to view this picture, you can either view it through the lens of calling it by its improper name or its mixed number name. I hope this video was helpful. Look forward to part 2.